Hello everyone. Welcome to another Zoom call. Thanks for being here with us. This is Lit in English. This is an environment where we share this great knowledge in English, and together our mission is spreading this knowledge to every corner of the world. And thank you very much for joining us here today. And hey, hello, Jasmine. So yesterday we went over the very beginning of the root formula, and this is one of the three semantic reference system. So this is one of the very important system that we need to understand in order to fully understand the root of any problem or any desire that we want to have in life. And this is a foundational theory. Some people might call it the first principle. And the root formula is the first out of the three, and it is going to be a very foundational formula that we are going to work with. So yesterday we went over the example of the mango tree, right? Of how we we plant a tree, a mango tree. We want it to be sweet so that we can get the sweet mango tree. Unfortunately, we get sour mango. So what can we do? What should we do? And this is something that we build on top of the transformation principle, which is one of the four principle. And the idea is that we want to get the transformation that we desire. And in this case, in this simple example, we want a sweet mango and we happen to have a sour mango. Therefore, we want to have the transformation from having a sour mango to a sweet mango. And we explore that it is very important, very important that we have a very clear definition or a clear description of what we truly want. And after going through the six very common way to get to the sweet mango, we realize that all of these solutions are temporary. Some of it doesn't even solve the problem. And we come to a realization, we come to a conclusion that even though we have to live and we have to solve issues all the time, and we might feel like we find a solution for it, but often we those solutions are only temporarily. And even though we have a strong desire to have a transformation, like changing the sour mango to a sweet one, we weren't able to do it. And another example that we built on top of the mango example is about health. For example, in order to have good health, right? It is kind of similar to the mango. Let's say we don't have the health, we are not as healthy as we wanted to. So in a way, our health is kind of sour, right? And we want our health to be sweet, to be pleasurable. So we want to change from a state of not as healthy as we want to a state of being healthy. And we compare the six most common solution to that problem. And we quickly realize that those solutions are temporarily as well. It is not a permanent one. It is not the root of the um, the problem, right? And the root formula will help us go to the very root of anything, so that we can build it from the ground up. And it's kind of similar to the lit house that we discussed a few days back, right? In order to build a tall building or a stable one, the foundation has to be very strong. And the root formula is a tool, is a reference system that can help us get to the root of it or the foundation of it. In that way, we will be able to figure it out exactly, or at least we will know what we need to work on in order to get the result that we wanted, right? And let's do another example so that we can fully see the importance of the foundational theory of the root formula. Because maybe two, you know, two is pretty good. Well, let's make a third one to make our case here. So another important area or category that we all have to deal with or experience is relationship, right? So let's say if you are in a relationship with someone, it could be a romantic relationship, or it can just be a relationship between like two people, like best friends, or between a father and son, or daughter and mother. So any relationship, if we have if we happen to have a sour relationship, right? Which means a relationship that is not as desirable as we want it to. We want our relationship to be sweet, to be wonderful. So let's try to apply the uh, the six most popular solution. The first one is add sugar or macerate with sugar. We would try to make the relationship more exciting, right? That's that's pretty good. I think that's one of the common, and it is somewhat effective. What about trade sour for sweet? That's mean you trading one person for another. So doing that, you pretty much kind of like destroying the relationship or just give up on it, with kind of counter productive to the result that we want, which is having an amazing relationship with that person. How about fertilization? Fertilization kind of similar to add sugar, right? Like you want to nurture the relationship, maybe doing things with each other, maybe buy gift presents. What about number four? Change taste. Change taste is actually kind of similar to the trade sour for sweet when it's come to relationship, right? As in like you don't like you don't want to have a sour, a bad relationship, but you kind of just have to deal with it. So pretty much you kind of give up on that relationship, which is not what we want. What about shrapting? Does that mean like you bring someone new into the relationship and you spend time with that person instead of the previous one? That's kind of don't make sense, right? Because the goal is we want to build a good relationship with our partner. What about number six? Plant a different tree. We ran into the exact same problem. We don't want to get rid of our relationship. We want to have a permanently great relationship. So as you can see, one solution for one area doesn't work for the other. And this is the constant struggle that most of us have to deal with, because we don't have a lot of time, right? We only have 24 hours a day. we can only learn so much, and it might take a while for us to learn a lesson, to learn a solution, so that we know what to do with it. And often people would use their experience to apply a solution of one area to the other. But as you can see here, a solution that might sound great to one thing, it might not work for other. Therefore, it might take us even longer to learn how to act, how to behave, how to take care of the important area in our life, like our inner self, like our health, like our relationship, like our finance. And this is the importance of all of the information that we are sharing, especially the three semantic reference system, because this is the first principle. This is the foundational principle. This is the reference system that you can use to make sense of any category or any challenges that you might face in life. Right. Okay. So let's move on to the second part of the root formula. Right. I guess we have some very good example to refer to. So what do we do? What can we do? Right? How can we get the right seed so that we can get to that sweet mango? So a lot of the experts and scientists, they uh, they also realize the importance of finding the root of the problem. They are very interested in building a strong foundation to grow anything, to to expand any field. Therefore, this is arguably a scientific method, all right? Because there has been a lot of money invested in this study to figure out how can we get the outcome that we desire. If you have pen and paper, I would like to invite you to to write and to draw along the way outcome. Right. Let's circle it. Okay. So when we look at an outcome, what would influence the outcome that we desire? Let's think about that for a moment. For example, in our in our mango example, we want to have a sweet mango, right? The outcome that we want is sweet mango. But oftentimes, even though we want a sweet mango, the mango just happened to be sour, right? So the outcome that we we want might be different from what we desire. And the expert have let us know that the outcome that we receive, it is greatly influences by our choice, right? It is not about what you want. It kind of is about what you want to, but it is more about the choice that you make, right? For example, I wanted back in 2016, right? I want to help to be healthier. I want to lose weight. And I make the choice of going to the gym. I has made the choice of eating healthier. And thanks to that choice, I was making progress. But at the same time, it was the same me that started to make an excuse of, you know what? I has been working really, really hard. And I'm going to take a break, right? I'm going to just take a break for one day, and then I will get back to the gym the next day, right? Or maybe, you know what, I've been really good with watching what I eat, and I'm craving for pho. And you know what, it is okay. Let's just go get a bowl of pho, right? And that is the choice that I made. And because of those choices and those actions, is kind of like driving me away from the outcome that I want. And the outcome that actually happened is what is me. It's kind of like slowly drift away from exercising often, from eating right. So the choices that we make is also often um, the action that is suitable, right? Suitable to us. It is the thing that we like. For example, why do I wear a blazer, right? Why do I wear a suit? Just because I like it. It's so convenient. I can wear it like this and I can go to anywhere and I will fit right in. And it's keep me warm. It has a lot of pocket. I love it. I can just carry things and I don't have to worry about it. It's awesome. So it, it has a lot to do with what is suitable to you, what you like, your choices, right? And realizing this, the scientists ask the question, how can they get the outcome that they want? In business, this question is even more important because imagine if you start your own business, right? Your outcome would be having a successful business, and you would think further, how can I have a great business? And people quickly realize that in order to have a successful business, you have to have a successful human resource, as in you have to have good employee so that they can help you grow your business. And because of that, people have invested a lot of money to figure out how they can find the right employee, how they can get the outcome that they wanted. And people realize that in order to have the outcome, in order to directly influence choices, character, character is what does it. Right? Because the character of someone who is a hard worker, who willing to do the job excellently, they will make the choice to work hard and they will produce the outcome, which is an effectiveness in their work, which is very good for the business owner, right? And this is the reason that if you do any job search, you will start to see like a job description of how people say that, oh, you know what, you have to have like a high school diploma, you have to have like certain certification in order to apply for the job. Or let's say if a hospital need to bring in more doctors and nurses. They have to look for people who have completed medical school, right? You have to have a doctor degree. You have to complete certain certification. Similar to the nurses, they have to complete their certification in order to be qualified for the job. So qualification is something that we all see in all around the world, right? People have to have the character needed in order to get the outcome that we want. So the scientists and the expert, they said they spend even more time to do some more research on this, because even though they spend a lot of money on trying to hire the right people, right? And we are using the example of the corporate structure in order to understand this, because that is one of the very important area in our life, right? We kind of like talking about the financial part of the lit house now, something that is very easy to relate to. So they realize that even though they have spent a lot of time, a lot of money to find the right people for their company, they still not getting the outcome that they want. It was very similar to my story of how I was very good at first, right? I was going to the gym very often. I was eating right, but after a while, I kind of fall off, and we quickly realized that character is not the root of the problem. Character is not the foundational element. Therefore, we dig a little bit deeper and we realize that just like character to outcome, just like character to choices, there's an element that affect character, and that is habit, right? People realize that habit is or are what creating character. For example, of a very fit a person with good physique is the one that have a habit of going to the gyms, right? A person who have beautiful skin, they often are the one that have a habit of taking care of their skin, right? A character of someone like Messi, for example, a very famous soccer player from Argentina, he must have the habits of practicing soccer way more often than other people, right? Beside the talent that he has. Okay. And we realize that it is the habit that bring out the character. And this is the reason that a lot of corporate, a lot of companies, they would try to enforcing certain activity in order to produce the habit that they want in the employee, so that the employee can develop the character that they need in order to bring out the outcome that they want, which is growing the company, right? Let's say their company only worth $1 million and they want to increase the value tenfold to 10 million, and they realized that they needed to find the right character, the right people to help them with. And in order to have that right character, right people, they need to develop the habit. But they ran into similar problem that after some time it just doesn't stick, right? And they realize that habit is not the root of the problem. They realize that there is something deeper to it. There's something more that they can do to get the result that they desire. And they realize that it is the action. It is the action that will create the habits. So people actually have to do it, right? They can't just get into habit and not doing it. And this take me back to the example of me going to the gym, right? If I don't take the action of continuing going to the gym, if I don't take the actions of continuing of eating healthy, then eventually I will fall off of that habit and I will fall off of that character, and then I don't get the outcome that I want. So there's the inner connection between all of this, right? And if you remember my story about the author who said in order to make $1 million, you have to become a millionaire first, right? It might sound very, very weird at first, like, don't you have to have $1 million in order to be becoming a millionaire? And that was when I used the example of, the author knew very well that he is a millionaire and he wanted to share with other how they can do the same thing. And what he did is that he materialized the information needed to becoming a millionaire. And that was the topic of the seven holistic wealth, right? Gonna immaterialize the material and materialize the immaterial. And what the author was talking about is that in order to make that $1 million, you have to take the right action, right? You have to know what a millionaire does. You have to have the habit of a millionaire. You have to have the character of a millionaire in order to have the outcome of making $1 million, right? And then there's another important step in order to do that as well. To take the action, you have to have the right thought. Okay. And here I present to you, this is the secret that have cost a lot of researchers money to find out. And people using this, and they was able to get the outcome that they want. People was able to use this to help other learn about their skill. They was able to use this to materialize the immaterial and immaterialize the material, right? For example, the quote that I just mentioned, in order to make $1 million, you have to becoming a millionaire. And the author demonstrated that he was saying that because there's certain character of a millionaire that you have to be. You have to have like good relationship with your inner self. You have to have good relationship with other, because a lot of time it is not about what you know, it is about who you know. So you have to build a character in order to attract those relationship, right? And then he was talking about the right habit that you want to have. For example, he did a research study that, and then he realized that the ultra successful people, they tend to wake up at like 5 a.m. in the morning. So he was talking about the 5 a.m. club, right? People are trying to get up early so they can get into the habit of that, of getting up early so they can build the character that they needed. But in order to have that habit, they have to take the action. They have to set an alarm clock to get up early. And not only that, when they wake up, they have to do like meditation. They have to read books, right? They have to take care of themselves. And in order to do that, the author uh that books have to provide the idea, the thought needed so that the reader can take action can transform the action into the habit to be a character of a millionaire. And many of them have achieved the success of making that $1 million to have the outcome that they desire. So this is a very, very powerful step that you can take. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, the outcome. You can apply this to anything in life, right? Like I mentioned at the sixth barrier, sometime, right? We don't think about it like consciously. We don't make the intention of having that thought, but the thought happened to just show up, and from that thought, even though we don't think much of it, that thought has to be important, right? Because it show up in your mind, which means that it has to be very important to you. And if you are strong enough, if you can hold on to that thought, and if you understand how the sixth barrier work, so right after that thought, you will start making like excuses. But now that you have this knowledge, you know how to break through those barriers. You will be able to materialize those thoughts, right? You start taking action, just like Mr. Roger Bannister, who ran 1 mile under 4 minutes. He has the thought that he can run 1 mile under 4 minutes, something that the entire world thought to be impossible. Okay. And he was able to materialize it. He was able to take the action from that thought, from that goal. And from taking action, he built a habit of a professional athlete who can run short distance, but very, very fast, a very fast runner. And through the thought, action, and habits, he was able to build a character of someone who can run 1 mile under 4 minutes. And he was able to acquire the outcome of running 1 mile under 4 minutes, right? So that two example, okay, two very, very powerful example. What is another example that we can think of? How about the story of Donald Trump, Mr. Donald Trump? The story that I told you that how he was a billionaire, right? Billionaire started with a capital B, right? And because of the real estate market in the late 80s and early 90s, he lost all of it. Not only he lost all of it, he owned one of the billions. But the difference between Trump and other is that for some reason there is some thought that came up, and like I mentioned earlier, it has to be important. And his thought was that he still had the knowledge about real estate. He still had the relationship. He know that the bank don't want to bankrupt him. He know that they want to make that $1 billion that he was owing to them. So he was able to leverage it to sign a very, very important business deal, the real estate deal, right? Because when the market were crashing like that, it's also mean that there are many great deals to be taken. Okay. When people see challenges, when people see difficulty, Donald Trump was able to see it as opportunity, right? So from the thought of it, he was able to take action. And from those actions, he was able to build even stronger habit of a character who is going to make that $3 billion only in 3 years. And that was the outcome that he desired. And that is the pattern. This is very, very powerful. If you look at any big corporation, any great company out there, this is what they follow. Okay. Because they understand the steps. They understand the process of thought, action, habits, character, and outcome. five very important steps. And this is not new. I kept talking about scientists, they haven't proven this, but this is ancient knowledge. This was very well known in Asia, namely in China. And these are the knowledge that further expand to Southeast Asia. It is something that to a lot of culture, they agree on this. But for Western culture, they always need to do their research study, right? They gotta make sure that it is correct. They have to like spend a whole bunch of money proving it to be right. But I'm telling you, this is this is the five step that people can take to get to the outcome that they want. And it is also me telling you right now is that there's the faster way, right? There's the better way. Instead of doing the thought, action, habit, character to the outcome, which is great, which is very, very amazing. But if we really, really think about it, thought is still not the root of the problem. It's still not. It is still not the root of it all, right? Because we have thought all the time. Some people they just don't take action. They still have that six barriers. And better yet, we change our thought all the time. We weren't able to focus, right? Like talking to you right now, I'm kind of thinking about the coffee that I'm going to have. I might thinking about the food that I'm going to eat. So even though thought, action, habit, character will get the outcome that we want, there is something more to it. There is something more that successful people like Mr. Roger Bannister was able to do. There's something a little bit more that people like Mr. Donald Trump able to do. And that, my friends, is right. What kind of pen do I want to use? Let's use blue. I want you to write alongside with me the word mindset. And this is important. So it's turned out that great people like Mr. Trump and Mr. Roger Bannister, the people who was able to do the amazing thing, right? The thing that average people would thought to be impossible. They went a step deeper, and it was their mindset that directly influenced their choice. Right? It wasn't just simply a thought, or it wasn't simply just many thought, right? Because, like I mentioned earlier, our thoughts change all the time if we are not focused, if we are not have a clear goal, the clear outcome that we want. So, in the case of Mr. Roger Bannister, it is his mindset that I am going to be the guy who break that record, who run 1 mile under 4 minutes. I'm going to cross that finish line, right, by the 4 minute mark. Similarly, for Mr. Donald Trump, he has made up his mind. He had the mindset that he's not going to give up. He's going to make his money back. He has the mindset that if I'm going to If I have made my money in the past, I'm going to do that again. I will be able to do that again. And that mindset is the root of thought, which generate action, which build habits, which create the character, and it will materialize the outcome that we want, right? So you can actually skip all five of these steps. You can go directly to the mindset, right? And you will get the outcome that you want. Okay. And this is the beautiful things about the one of the three semantic reference system, which is the root formula. And this is a deep dive into the transformation principle, right? So we can get the transformation that we want. So we can transform our mindset to our thought. We can transform our thought to our action. We can transform our action to our habits. We can transform our habits to our character. And we will be able to get the outcome that we want. We will have that transformation. And we will be able to skip all of that if we can just have the right mindset. Super, super powerful. And similarly, Mark Zuckerberg, the young billionaire who created Facebook, his story is very similar as well, right? When he was 19 years old, he had the idea of creating Facebook, and he made up his mind that this project is important to him. He had the mindset that he is going to make this a reality, and going to school, going to Harvard is not going to help him with that. So he decided to drop out from the most popular, the most well-known school in the entire world, Harvard University. He dropped out and pursued his dream, right? Even his parents thought that he was crazy, but he's made up his mind. He had the mindset that he is going to create Facebook. He going to have that outcome. And the moment that he make that decision, he was able to directly influence his choices to get the outcome that he need. It's happened almost like constantly. It's happened almost like instantly. Okay. And that is the beauty of it. Because there are opportunity, there are decisions that you don't want to spend time to think about it. You don't want to spend too much time doing that, right? You don't want to spend too much time going to action, go to the habits, and go into the character to make that choice. Because in life, there will be time that we gonna need to make a very, very important choice very quickly. Sometimes you only have half a second to do it. But with the right mindset, you will be able to make the right choice, the important choice that you needed to make in order to get the outcome that you want, right? And this is the beauty of the root formula, right? So prior to the mindset, it was amazing enough, right? He was doing very, very well with the 5 step, but you can get everything done almost instantly with the right mindset. And as amazing as it is, right? What if I tell you that there is a step deeper, that we can go even deeper to the root of the problem, the root of all things. Okay, let's go back to the previous page. Where is my orange tree? Orange tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here you go. All right. let's take a few moments to look at this orange tree. Okay. So we was able to get to the very root of the of all things. We was able to get to mindset. But even at mindset, it is only kind of like a fertilization step, right? We only provide what needed to get straight to the outcome, but it is still only just the root of the problem. What if I can tell you that you can go one step further? And I kind of mentioned that yesterday as well, because prior to the root of the problem, the root of all things, the foundation of all things, there's a seed that we can work on, right? We can choose the right seed to get the outcome that we want. And there's a famous quote saying that you reap what you sow, right? So instead of going through all of the solution to a problem, or instead of trying so hard to find the outcome that you want, okay, instead of spending a whole bunch of time, resources to change the sour mango to a sweet mango, we can just choose the right seed, right? So that would make the root formula a seed formula. If I were to tell people this is the seed formula, people would think that I was crazy, right? Because what the hell is a seed? I don't want to be a farmer. But get into this part of the presentation. I have confidence that you understand this and you see the importance of this. And it is very true that there is a level deeper than mindset. And that is images. The word itself might sound silly, but let me assure you that this is very, very important. Okay. So there will be time that you see thought in your head, right? Some people might describe it as like a voice that telling them that they needed to do something. Maybe in the case of Mr. Roger Bannister, this might begin with just a thought that maybe he should do it. But a more powerful thing is a very clear image of the destination. Mr. Roger Bannister, he had a very, very, very clear image of him crossing that finishing line before the 4 minute mark hit. And he was able to do that, right? And I'm sure in the case of Donald Trump, he has to have a very clear image of him making that money back. And that has to be prior to the mindset, right? What about Facebook? Similarly, Mark Zuckerberg, he has to have a very clear image of Facebook being successful, right? He has to be able to see it in order to have that mindset. And that is the power of vision, right? People talk about visionary leader all the time. All of the people that I mentioned to you, they are visionary leader. So having vision is very, very important. And this is the reason that we talk a lot about barrier number six, lack of vision, because you can have vision, you can change that, right? What about activation of the human brain? Why is it important? It is important because when we can activate the human brain, we can get to that vision, can get to that images. And this is how Jeff Bezos built his empire. This is how Jeff Bezos building his Amazon company. He was already doing well back in 1995, right? He was able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that was big money back then. He was working for a stock company that broke. He was a broker, but he has a very clear image of Amazon, and he resigned. An amazing job. He just gave up on it to start a business of selling books online. People didn't even know what the internet was back in 95, 96. And people thought that he was crazy, right? And for 20 years, Amazon didn't make a profit. Any money that they make, they invest right back to the company, right? A lot of time they actually sell their book at a loss so that they can gain momentum, so that they can gain customer, right? Let's say the book sell for $20 wholesale price. You can buy it in Amazon for $18. They they was willing to take that 10% loss so that they can attract customer. They invest all the money that they earn into the business. Whatever they make, they invest to the infrastructure to build warehouses all around the world, right? And they did it. They are now one of the biggest, if not the biggest, company in the world. And it was all started with an image, right? So if mindset is the root formula, images would be the seed, the seed of a sweet mango tree, that sweet, juicy mango. It's very amazing, right? It is. Not too many people realize this, but the elite was able to see it, and they was able to materialize it. And what if I can tell you, what if I tell you right now that there is even a level deeper? And there is. And this is why this is one of my favorite topics to talk about, because we can dive in deep. Right? And this is the beauty of the three semantic reference system. And we are only talking about the first of the three, guys. Okay. For the root formula, we can go into the very foundational of it all. And a step deeper than this image, there are actually four. So I would like to invite you to write the word hearing. I would like to invite you to write the word seeing. I would like you to invite you to write the word saying. And I would like to invite you to write the word knowing. I know these are such simple words, but it has some very, very deep meaning, right? Because instead of just an image of the result of the outcome, I'm very, very positive that Mr. Roger Bannister, not only he was able to see it, right? Not only he was able to see a clear image of him crossing that finishing line. I'm sure he was able to hear people cheering him as he's crossing that finishing line, right? Okay, let's say it again. I'm sure he was able to see in the image of him crossing that finishing line. I'm sure Mr. Roger Bannister was able to hear, right, hearing the cheering of people when he crossed that finishing line. And I'm sure Mr. Roger Bannister can say deep in that he was able to cross that finishing line under 4 minutes. And he know he can do it. There's a knowing to it. And I can argue the same thing for all of the successful story that I just mentioned. Uh, Donald Trump, Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, from Jeff Bezos from Amazon. And there's another person that I very admire of, and that is Elon Musk. Actually, the entire world kind of admire this guy. He is very young. He had success very early on. But the amazing thing about Elon Musk is that he own and operate multiple $1 trillion worth company, and he was doing very well with all of them. And in many interview, he uh, he often received a question that how can I be like you, right, Elon? How can I be successful like you? How can I be cool like you? I want to be smart like you. I want to have what you have. And Elon answer is always the same, right? He said that you don't want to be me. You don't want to be like me because I can't stop idea from coming to me, right? It just happened constantly. It just happened all the time. So what is Elon Musk saying, right? Like what is keep coming all the time? Is it images? Is it mindset? Is somebody talking to him? And he can't quite put it to word, but let me tell you, it is this the hearing, seeing, saying, and knowing, right? And all of that amazing idea keep coming to him for some reason. And he was able to materialize many and many of them. And he's going to work on more of it. And he is getting the support of the entire world. So this is another layer that is deeper than just image, right? So if we were to cover this, right, where we only have thought, action, habit, character, and outcome, it is already amazing enough. You could just take these five and you will be able to acquire the outcome that you want, right? But this is foundational. This is one of the semantic reference system. We take we take the better route, right? We're gonna work on that mindset so that will directly influence our choices. Better yet, we have to have a clear image to get the outcome that we want. And there's a very famous quote saying that if you can change that image, you will change your life. You will have that transformation. And in order to have that clear image, eventually you will experience the hearing and seeing, saying and knowing. And it is beautiful, right? And that is the end of my presentation. Like I said, usually I like to keep my presentation within an hour because with us in the US, we have to go to work And I know my friends in Vietnam and in other part of the world, they may have to get ready for bed. And I would like to thank you so much for joining me on this journey. This is the beginning, and we are going to continue to do this because these are very, very important knowledge. It is so important that I literally believe that it will change the entire world, right? People will be happier. People will be more conscious about their inner self, about their health, about their relationship, about their finance, right? And even though I often talk about money, that is not my focus, right? Money is just a measurement of value. So when someone who can make a lot of money, it just means that they create a lot of value. They bring in a lot of good. They cannot eat more than what I can eat or you can eat. They cannot drink more. We all have 24 hours a day, but they was willing to take on the responsibility like Mr. Elon Musk, right? There was no reason for him to work 100 hours a week to run like $5 trillion companies, but he was doing it because he was doing it for the better. And we are too. We are doing this for the better, for our future, for our children's future, and to make the world a better place. I know it's not easy, but we are going to do it, guys. So thanks again for joining us. And again,